Okay, ladies and germs, here we go. Today we are out at the Back Bay. It's a gorgeous sunny day. It's the end of February, so it's a little chilly, a little chill in the wind. But anyway, so here we go. Here's the Back Bay. I don't know if the fisheye lens is going to really help or not, but let's get to painting. Okay, so here we have red, blue, yellow, white, and a little bit of brown romber, just to see what happens. Let's go ahead and select our brush. We're looking for something with a nice stiff bristle. There we go, that's a good one. All right. A little bit of that, just a touch of this, because you never know. And this, you know what, so here, it's like, maybe there's some really darks, I'm not really sure. I can get it right here. But anyway, you can see like the fog's coming in, this and that. So we want to set up this painting to really, get the whole fog thing going on. By the way, ooh, look at that. We happen to be in the departure path of John Wayne Airport, by the way. And if you notice, there's like a ton of people walking by. What do they do for a living? I don't know. But we're in Orange County, so I'll just go with it. Okay, so you can see my darks is actually very blue. It's very very cool. Very super cool. Let's put a little red here just to warm that up just a hint. A little bit of the brown because it's a neutral darky thing. Alright. There we go. So this is going to be our dark that we're going to key everything off of. Registration marks here. Ready? Let's do a drawing here. Let's do our drawing. Alright, just in this video, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the audio levels a little bit. So, because it was like really kind of windy and I didn't have a little wind sock puppet on my microphone on the GoPro. So, anyway, so what I'm going to do is just play with the audio levels a little bit. And so you can have like a background wind noise, ASMR, and then it'll come up when I start talking and stuff like that. And anyway, enjoy the painting. Yeah, so this audio thing is getting me a little, so I'm going to again leave the audio, the ASMR audio in the background very small, but I'm just going to go ahead and narrate over this. This way I can also collect my thoughts a little bit better. I don't know. So anyway, so here I am. I'm doing the composition right now using this dark tone that I have. This, I heard someone say it was like, you start with your numerology and you pick a color. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, so as one, that's how you pick your colors, through numerology. Not a bad idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to set up the composition using different colors, if you will, to kind of just block in some of these big shapes here, because what you're seeing there, that was like kind of the drawing, the little path. You can't really see it in the video from the GoPro because of the fisheye lens, but the path leading into the Back Bay area is kind of what the drawing is in the composition. There's these big bluffs or whatever in the background, and those are just kind of like a supporting thing you'll see here in a second. So I didn't really want to draw those in using any darker colors, so I'm just going to smudge them in using a little bit of color. But the idea here is I'm just kind of blocking in my bigger shapes and using maybe not the correct color, but trying to get the correct tone or value in it to make it the setting up those bigger shapes. Anywho, here we go. Just plugging along. I'll be quiet so you can just enjoy. Oh, I'm putting in the water there. So these Back Bay area, it's a really popular spot for painting here in Orange County. So if you're an artist, whatever, you come out to Orange County to paint or hang out or get really expensive food for no reason. This is one of the places. It's called the Back Bay. It's a swamp. No, it's an estuary. That's what it's called. It's an estuary. And so it's connected to the ocean in the Back Bay Harbor, the Newport Harbor, and so the tides like come and go pretty good. You can like have lots of marshy stuff, and then it fills up, and it's like where'd all the marsh go? There's a bazillion. What are they? I don't know what kind of sharks they're called. They're called banjo sharks. That's what we call them. They're like the little flat ones that sit on the bottom and just sit there until you get near them, and then they scurry away. Anyway, it's just chock full of it, and mollusks too. Anyway, but the idea is I want to knock that back. Like it's just like so far in the background that and then there's the fog coming in, and this is kind of fun how the fog. It's like right at the ocean. Like you could be like steeped in the fog, and there's like absolutely, it's so thick, and then you can walk like 10 feet and then you're in the bright sunshine. That's how it works. But anyway, so this fog is just there and it just kind of creeps in, and it obscures everything. So those edges in the background are going to be like really soft edges and really close in value, so that it really obscures the background. And you'll see when we get there. Oops, that's a little too dark there. Oops. So you know what we do? We just blend it right in. Take it out. Yeah, you gotta keep mixing on your palette until you get that correct color on your palette to start trying to put it in. Then you put it up on up on your canvas panel there and see if it fits. If it does, great. If not, fix it before you start putting too much in. Also, this is still like really loose wash. Like, this is really washy. There's no thick paint here or anything. So if you really need to, you just wipe it off. But let's go ahead and start just blocking in the background now. And by background, I mean the sky in this case. Because you have this fog, and it doesn't show up on the video, but in real life, the fog has variations of color, even though it's really kind of bright, and you get the yellowy warmth out of it because the sun beating through it. But then it gets like really dark in some areas because that's how it works. And so you just don't want to put like a big blob of something, and just kind of varying up a little, create a little texture interest in it. I personally think this is kind of the fun part of painting, where you just kind of, there's no real shapes or anything. You're just kind of, having at it. Like we do like an abstract painting, and you just kind of going at it or whatever. This is kind of the fun part. I like this part. So there I am putting a little bit of variation in the color of this fog to kind of show the densities as it goes through the top part, the bottom part, the part with the sun, the part without the sun, but creating a lot of variation in there. Very subtle, but variation. And the one thing I am being sure to do is in that background is I'm trying to, it's lost and found edges, but trying to obscure that background through very soft edges to really kind of show that the fog was like really thick hanging in there. And so I was really kind of conscientious of doing that part. And then of course at the, right above the fog, it's, like beautiful blue sky or whatever. It's kind of crazy and fun. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I know, right? This whole Back Bay is a pretty awesome place. I mean, look down here, over there. Oh yeah. Okay. So one of the joys of plein air painting out with people is people come up and they want to say hi and everything and whatever. It's like it's cool, it's cute. Especially when you're in a show and people come up and you just instantly give them the postcard to say, hey, come to the show and buy it. But people have got to come up and just tell you how awesome their kid is and how their kid can paint and hey and this and that, and you're like, yeah, that's great and everything, yeah, whatever, dude. And so this guy was like, oh yeah, I want to be I want to be an artist and everything. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but I didn't have my card on me. I didn't have I'm not in a show. I'm just in there. So, you just kind of talk to people, but it's always so funny. I was like, oh yeah. Anyway, buy the painting or don't. I don't know. But you never know. I mean, like this guy could be like, some bazillionaire developer or something. Probably not this guy. I don't know. I always let people take pictures too, because as part of the celebrity, you're out there, part of the environment, and people are curious and they want to get a picture of this and that and everything. And you're like, all right, great, but hey, dude, yeah, all right, have a great day. But it's a great way to, if you're one of those, really awesome salesmen and you bring your business card with you or postcard or this and that, and if you're like, especially if you're in a gallery or something, you're like, yeah, here, come check out the rest of my work in the gallery and this and that. That's an awesome time to do this. That's why you really want to be out there with people, because you can do that. Because the other option is like if you're somewhere in like a really remote wilderness place and you get like a mountain lion or something coming up, they're interested just as much. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're curious and everything. However, they may not want to buy your painting at all, and they're not really interested in the painting per se, but more you. So there is that. So I mean, like humans are dangerous creatures too. Don't get me wrong. That's one thing I've heard, or read about in people. It's like, these, I say women, but they were women who were posting all this about, being out somewhere and thinking it was dangerous. Especially if you're on a back trail. I mean, I hear this is, as you can see, bazillion people and their dogs and babies walking by. It's pretty safe. I mean, you're in Newport Beach, for Pete's sake. But if you're somewhere that's kind of like remote or something like that, or like a trail that goes through a weird part of town or something like that, yeah, I can see where, you're out there painting and, some creepo comes along and, yeah, it can be a little dangerous. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm a pretty big guy, and quite honestly, I'd look forward to a physical confrontation just to see if all the years of martial arts paid off or anything. But anyway, so yeah, I really don't tell you other than paint with a buddy and I don't know, have a gun or something, a taser, bring a lightsaber. That would be a good idea. But anyway, also once you put in the sky, if you have any water in your painting, usually your sky and your water are going to be pretty much the same color because one's going to reflect the other. Anyway, so if you're putting in your sky and you have your colors, whatever, go ahead and put in your water at the same time. if it's reflected water. But anyway, being safe out there is actually paramount and everything. But yeah, I mean, like if I was somewhere, I'm more worried about a mountain lion sneaking up behind me and not having enough snacks to give them. I'd rather just feed them and whatever. But I'd try and talk to a cat, like a mountain lion or something. I'd try and talk to them, make friends with them. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. Anyway, so here we are, fixing up some of our compositional elements, really working on your line quality. Because here, as we're starting to slow down and be a little more conscientious of our brush strokes, because we want to make sure that our line quality is correct. And also, here's another thing, is the drawing part. Just that really dark was the drawing. Everything else is just kind of, I'm just kind of putting in there and making it part of the scenery, if you will. But the drawing is really important. And the way you get good at that is not by going out there and painting. The way you get good at that is the way I did it was I'd lay in bed with my sketchbook and every night, and I would make a sketch of what I kind of had seen that day. And I use like crayon or like a woodless pencil, something that's, allows you to have some really thick, broad strokes. And so in doing so, it helps your hand be able to do what your brain wants it to do. And that's like really important, because I know so many people just want to get out and just paint and just, I just want to be an artist and paint everything. But you really need to learn how to draw, learn how to see the landscape, and then translate it onto your 2D panel. And that is really key to do, because I can't tell you how many times you go up and you see a painting, you're like, oh, yeah, it's just the drawing is off. And you really can't get past it because you're like, God damn it, the drawing's off, And I was watching a Bob Ross episode at some place. I was having my rice and chicken bowl or whatever. And the way he was doing it was the composition just kind of materialized as he was painting. And I thought, wow, that is the exact opposite of what I do, which is where I set the composition first, and then I go in and put all my happy trees and bushes. Whereas when he was doing, he's putting all these happy trees and bushes, this and that. Oh, here's a path, or I was just putting a path. And I was like, yeah, but the drawing is off. And like that composition wasn't as well thought out. And so it was just kind of different. It was, kind of a happy-go-lucky, go as things fall. And I think that's what a lot of people do in plein air painting who don't do the drawing first, is you're just kind of, happy-go-lucky, putting it in, having a good old time, and then trying to figure out how the composition is going to work. And I think is what happens then is, the drawing is off. Simple as that, or you didn't set things in the right place, because this is an academic pursuit. The non-academic pursuit is if you were to do like contemporary stuff where you're just making a big mess. Like, oh my God, I was out one time walking where I lived, and there's this guy out there, and he like had his easel set in this huge painting. It was like probably like a 2x4 foot painting, 3x4 foot, something like that, huge. And he was just kind of standing around like, trying to get people to interact with him and whatever. And this guy looked like he was like, I don't know, a nickel away from being completely homeless. If not, he was already homeless. Anyway, so he had this, big canvas out there and a painting on it and this and that. And I looked at it and I was like, I just thought to myself, first thing I thought to myself was, wow, this sucks. This is a lousy painting. Holy shit, dude. So anyway, but I started talking to him, and sure enough, he was, I don't know, I think he lived somewhere. I don't know. But, because one thing is everyone's like, oh, wow, that's really neat. Oh, hey, that's really, because you just want the praise. And everyone's like, the praise. And I told the guy, I said, could I be honest with you? This sucks. This is awful. I mean, this is really an awful painting. And he was like, kind of taken back. And he goes, oh, like, what do you mean? And it's like, and so I went on like a little bit of, I said, you mind if I tell you why? He goes, yeah, sure. And so I told him, I said, like, I just went through the whole thing, like, what's this? What's that? Is, really there, this and that? And the colors and this and that. I mean, it was really one. I wish I had pictures I could show you guys, but I mean, what a god awful painting this was. And he was going on and telling me how it was a commission. He's been working on it for a year or something like that. And I was like, holy smokes, man, that is one disconnect of reality this guy has. And so, anyway, I mean, I was like, I was still kind of nice to him and everything. And I was like, he goes, well, what do you think? Or how do you, by what authority do you kind of have to say all this? And I said, well, I have an art degree at this and that, and and he goes, well, that doesn't matter. I said, no, it doesn't, but it does. I mean, there's some type of education that has to go into it to really, understand what you're doing. Otherwise, who knows what you're doing? So anyway, it's that kind of honesty that you got to kind of look at your own work with. Is like, if you're just doing it for fun and you're just having a good old grand time, then hey, man, that's perfectly honest. But, if you're trying to get better, if you're trying to make these paintings stand out a little bit more, you're still, you're trying to achieve something, yeah, you have to be super duper honest with yourself and say, what can I do to make my paintings better? And, as I see how this one comes out, it's like, yeah, it turned out okay. To me, it turned out okay. For what it was, for the 45 minutes or so painting, all that good stuff, it was fine. But I'm going to go back in the studio and I'm going to do another painting of it. And you'll get to see that video as soon as I do it. And so, it's like, what can I do to make this painting better? What can I do to, by color, composition, simplify, increase the edge quality, decrease edge quality? I don't know. But I'm going to go into the studio and find out. And so, trying to get things better. Of course, obviously, doing, the more you do it, the more you get into your rhythm, I guess you could say. Make your mark, make your paintings, get better at the drawing part, getting better at the color part, the edge part, the value work and everything. And obviously, the more you do it, the better you get at. But always, always, always try and be super duper honest with yourself in trying to figure out how you can always, increase your painting a little. And it's really hard because you want to go to someone and get like other people's input, but you gotta be careful with that because you want whoever's going to give you input be like really knowledgeable on what they're doing and what they're saying, and not just someone who's like, oh yeah, it looks really pretty, oh my gosh, you did a great job, yeah, keep going. You don't want that. Yeah, I hate to tell you, you really don't. You want someone who can, really critically look at your work and say, this is what you can do to fix this, this, and this. This is really good. And you need to, keep working on that. And give you a really honest critique. And that is, oh, look, something's flying by here. I mean, like, seriously, saying the planes are going by, like, I don't know. If you get there early in the morning, they go like every 2 minutes, which is the minimum that they can be separated by, is 2 minutes. And so the planes are just taking off like every 2 minutes, man. It's just really crazy. Okay, anyway, back to the painting. And so, obviously when you're out there and you're out painting, you get to experience different atmospheres, different environments, sun, shadow, wind, this and that. And that's also kind of the fun of going to different places around town, or different locales, like you go to a painting event, or you're just on some type of fun event somewhere. And you really get to see that the atmosphere is different where you are. And it's one thing to say, oh yeah, no kidding, Eric, yeah, Jesus, what else, Captain Obvious. But the whole point is, you get to challenge yourself in different environments. And like I said, really, I swear to God, it comes down to the atmosphere is what's different. It really is. I don't know. It's weird. Do it. Try it. Tell me what you think. I think I'm saying something important right now, but the wind was so big and I didn't have the little windsock, so it's all drowned out. But anyway, so here we have this painting that's coming along at this point. We're about like, what, halfway through or so? And the quality of the scenery, some people like really minimalize it. Some people, oh, don't use that wrench doesn't do good painting stuff. It's used for the umbrella. All right. Oh, also, brushes are important in that you want a brush that does what to give you the effect that you're looking to do. Okay? You're looking for the brush that gives you what you want to do. Yeah, I'm probably saying something important about the relationship in the color between the grassy hillside and the brambly brush. But different brushes give you different effects. So the only way you can really know that is you just play around with them. You got the hard bristly brushes, you got the soft ones, you got the long ones, the short ones, and they will all kind of give you a little something different to work with to give you that painting effect that you're looking for. And that is just playing around with them to see how you react with that. There's no real hard rule on that. But here I am starting to put in some of the details now. So now that we have this composition set up, now we have our lights and darks, our values, this and that are pretty much all set. So now let's go through and just put in some details, start pulling some details out, and create a little more interest in the painting, I guess you could say. Anyway, I'll shut up for a second. And of course, what you see out in the field and what you put on your painting are two different things, because you want your painting to look good. If you need to move a few things around, you need to change the path a little, you need to increase it, decrease it, this, that, yeah, you do that. Make your painting look good. No one will ever see the actual location. They just see the painting. And yeah, so on the left side you get all these brambly bushes, whatever. A lot of neat texture. There's actually a brush I have back in the studio that does really good on that, but not in this setup. Also, so here's what happens here in California, Southern California, is somewhere in the beginning of the year you get a good rain shower or two, and that's it. And then everything turns green, everything turns golden. It's like gorgeous as all get out. Like, oh my God, it's just amazing. You see that green grass back in there? Oh yeah, the whole hillside is and I think that's where it gets the Golden State name, because the hills just turn golden in the afternoon sun. It's really amazing. But then give it a couple weeks and it all turns brown, and so it's all brown the rest of the year. So good time to get out and paint. I think for my next video, I'm going to try it with the non-fisheye lens and just do the regular, see if that helps or whatever. When you land here, usually you land, you roll out, and you want to, you don't want to melt your brakes or anything expensive. But here, when they land, they really hand the brakes. It's all this little fun detail stuff here that you can really kind of lose yourself in a way, I mean, it's part of the whole detail work, but it's also part of the, still trying to just put in the fun painting aspect of it. Just go with it. Go with it. See what happens. Also, this stage of the paint is getting a bit thicker, using a lot less solvent, and you know, so the paint is going to get a bit thicker at this stage. That includes, mostly it's just your whites or your highlights or whatever, you know, adding in all the white. But if you use, but it's okay for some of your darky darks to get thick as well. You know, like right here as I'm putting in the basically the shadow to kind of define the base of that grassy area, then, you know, it's okay for some of these darks to start getting a little bit thicker. So this is like the second video I'm doing. I've done other videos of me painting, but this is the second one I'm doing with this new type of painting where I'm just kind of holding the camera as I paint. And so, you know, this is like the full length version where you're going to see the whole video. And then, you know, I make like little shorts or whatever, you know, it's kind of like the promotion thing. They try and get some views to get people to go back and see this whole thing. But anyway, you know, I'm not like a hot chick doing a fun guy activity, so I really could use the help getting the, you know, the like, clicks, and subscribe. So tell a friend, tell an enemy, post it, share it, like, click, subscribe. Email Tim Cook of Apple and tell him to like this or whatever. And because I could really use the help, you know, because being an artist is such a solitary and hard thing. I'm not a marketing guy at all. I'm not that marketing sales guy like some people are. And so, you know, and I really don't have a job anywhere. So these videos and this whole YouTube channel of painting and making stuff, the whole STEAM MacGyver thing, because the STEAM is, you know, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And so I also make other stuff, other fun stuff. But I decided to include the whole STEAM MacGyver thing with the art, and art being the painting part. So go ahead and, you know, throw me a shout out somewhere. Help grow this channel because I could really use some help growing the channel. Making some gas money here, you know. I mean, you know, we're not talking like, you know, egg money, but we're talking gas money, which is just as bad, I think. We'll see. My truck doesn't exactly get good gas mileage. But anyway, as far as the painting goes, just making sure I've got the correct, you know, you don't want something that's going to mess up your composition. So fix it. I've also done I know one of the ways that artists kind of make a living being artists is teaching, you know, like doing workshops or teaching or whatever. And I still really am looking to get into that, but at this point it's just not happening for me as well as I was thinking it would be. But hey, but leave in the comments if you like these, if you don't like these, if you, I don't know what. Comments are always an interesting place to live. The comments are interesting. But go ahead and leave a comment. If it's a fun comment, I will definitely get back to you. And post comment, follow up, because I really like the engagement on it. You know, it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. So anyway, here we go. Mix it. You know, if you see on the palette there, everything is still like in the same color puddle, I guess you can say. You know, like I'm still mixing everything with all the other colors I've used so far. And I do that because it creates a color harmony in your painting. You're not like trying to come up with a whole new color for a whole new something, this and that. You're just keeping it all within the same color harmony puddle there, and you're blending it together, this and that, and it eliminates your colors being out of gamut, if you will, and it makes for like really interesting, very delicate color shifts. Bring things like a little warmer, a little cooler, and you can do it like really delicately, and that's why I always more or less mix the color. All right, little puppies there. And I always mix everything in the same color puddle because it just kind of keeps it really easy to make sure things don't get too wacky. If you're from SoCal Papa, Southern California Plein Air Painters Association, they every summer they do the Back Bay show, and it's a really good show to get into. Just go to socalpapa.com and check it out. And it's a great organization, by the way, really awesome. It's geared for the I guess you say the non-professionals, more the hobbyists or whatever. But they put on this big show. You set up your grids, this and that, a couple days. It's grown over the years. It does really well, and everyone comes out to the Back Bay and does a bazillion paintings of the Back Bay. So anyway, go check it out. It's when is it? June, July, something like that. I don't know. But as far as the Back Bay, there's a road that goes along it's on the other side. Like you're looking at that far side, and there's a road that goes up it, like right along the water's edge. You get like a lot of really neat scenes down there. And then these trails are all over the place. Like the one you're seeing the people walking on, that's the paved path, but there's all kinds of just trails, obviously, like the one in the painting. It goes all over. You can go down to the water, go in the water, go out of the water. Anyway, all over the place. But let's, as the spring's starting to come together, you're looking for the things like making sure the composition's still holding, all the colors are the values. Is it really saying what you want it to say? Are there any errors in it, I guess you can say? Like, I remember one time John Stern of the Irvine Gallery guy, whatever, he's like the guru of all plein air painting or something. Anyway, I was in a show one time, and he was the judge, and he, obviously I didn't win anything because that dude hates my work, man. I don't know why. But I asked him, I said, what do you look for when you're judging a painting? And he's like, I look for the errors. And so basically he was implying the painting with the least amount of errors would be the highest award painting. In reality, it's a little more political than that. But, so that's one thing I was like, oh, okay. And so I look for errors in the painting, like what doesn't work right, what doesn't look good, what's out of gamut, what are some edges that need fixing, refining. And that's the way I kind of look at the painting when I start getting to this stage in it. Am I pulling people in, pulling your eye into the painting correctly? Is there something that's going to distract you? Is there something that, when you look back, you're like, oh, what the heck was this guy thinking here? Isn't it? So that's where I'm at in this stage of the painting. And, you're just making really small adjustments here and there, whatever. And you may make an adjustment too much, and you have to fix it. It's pretty solid, it's pretty much how it goes sometimes. So anyway, here we go. We're just cranking along. And also, it was the time of day here. It's like by this time it's about 11:30, so the sun is pretty much right overhead. But it's a great place to go in the evening and get like all these really great shadows. Look at these small little changes here and there, just little air holes poked in here, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Get a little more texture, a little more interest, I guess you could say. Monkey with the line work a little bit. Because, I mean, at this stage of the painting, you're really not looking at your scenery anymore. You're just kind of looking at the painting. You see, you look. It's it's a Tuesday afternoon. Go for a walk. Why not? It makes me wonder sometimes when I'm working on a painting like this. You get so far into the weeds, as it were, about like what is, are you going too far? Are you messing it up at some point? And yeah, I don't know, man. That's something you just do after time. You're just like, did I mess it up? Did I not? Am I doing enough? Does this need to be fixed? That need to be fixed? And so, that's one of the things about, you hear a lot of people say, simplify, simplify. And so that's what I'm going to do back in the studio with this painting is simplify it and just really work on the minimal aspects of it. But out here, you want to noodle away. But I gotta be honest, this painting's getting pretty close to done. You're getting to the point where you're splitting so many hairs that doing this or that really isn't going to affect it that much. Is there any glaring errors at this point? Like, is there anything like really like, oh, look at that cute puppy dog. Oh, he's a cute little puppy. Anyway, so you're looking for anything that's like really egregious, or minorly egregious. Well, anyway, I guess it looks okay. I don't know. Well, let's see what this guy has to say. Okay, we take a step back. Look at the mug on this guy, man. Jeez, you know, I don't know if he's old, something. I don't know. Look at his hair. What is he saying? Blah, 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 blah. This is my office today. Things can't be that bad. You know, being an artist is pretty awesome when you're, you know, I don't know, as long as you're paying your bills. But, you know, it's not bad that living a life as an artist, you're just out on a gorgeous day, enjoying, you know, coming up with a painting that you kind of feel good about. That's pretty good, you know. That's what being an artist is all about. And I'm pretty happy about it, you know. Get a little sunshine, vitamin E. I think it's vitamin E that you get, and that's about it, you know. I don't know, guys. You know, I love sharing this passion of painting and the passion of art, and I love doing that. And you know, if you have any comments or anything, or this and that, let me know. And other than that, all right, we've had enough of that guy. Here's what the painting looks like. Not bad. Oh, and then we got to sign it. So what I do is I dig out my 1/4-inch dowel that you put in a pencil sharpener, lay your panel down nice and flat, and then you just go ahead and scribe it in. The paint is still wet, and then it shows the white of the panel in the background. So go ahead and put your name, month, and year. That way, if something happens to the world, you know what you're doing that month and year. So, and there it is, you know, and we'll call that a painting. Taco Bell, anyone?